All right, man, peace. You know, brothers, of all of the segments that I watch pertaining to coverage of the 2021 NBA Finals, this had to be one of the most surreal and the strangest of all of the segments that I watched, because we're going to see LeBron James' #1 fan, Shannon Sharpe James, a.k.a. Shannon Ulysses Aloysius Sharpe James III, go back and forth with Steven Jackson, #1, about who the new best player in the NBA is. And of course, Skip Bayless is going to intervene, every now and again. But I just found it hilarious how you had these two diametrically opposed sides, both saying things that you would not expect from them. With Shannon claiming that, in his view, Giannis is now the best player in the NBA, when we know for years he's always been the captain of the LeBron James ship. And Steven Jackson refusing to acknowledge that his absurd takes on Giannis Antetokounmpo now must be reevaluated, and he must grasp that it's important for his credibility as an analyst for him to come on television and say that he was wrong. He has an inability to do that, unfortunately for him. He's very proud. But I'll be covering that in my three-dimensional evaluation of the Kwame Brown storyline. But anyway, they're going to talk about it. I'm going to chime in.
Johnson took note of Giannis's historical finals performance last night after the big man dropped 50 points and won his first NBA title. Magic tweeted this: "Watch out, LeBron. KD and Giannis are right there, coming for your throne." Fox Sports NBA analyst Steven Jackson is with us now. Steven, who is the biggest threat to LeBron's throne right now?
Well, there's no real big threat to LeBron's throne because he's not on the damn throne. Right now, Giannis is on the throne. It's just facts. And KD is trying to figure out how to storm the castle. LeBron is also trying to figure out how to storm the castle. So if we're going to ask these type of questions, we have to ask them in the correct way with the correct context.
Well, it's three different ways you can look at this. As long as LeBron is in the league, he's going to be the face of the NBA.
I agree with that.
KD has always been the best player, and Giannis is the champion who's holding the trophy right now, and that's where it is.
I'm not quite sure if I agree with that last portion. I'll say that KD has been the most skilled player for the last 5 years or so, last 5 or 6 years. And I do believe that there's been a debate over who is the best player in the NBA, I would say prior to 2018. For those of you brothers who remember that far back, when I was covering LeBron's last season in Cleveland, when all of the media was prognosticating that the Cavaliers were not going to get back to the finals, I was one of the few people who held out and said, you know what, until I see LeBron get knocked out of the playoffs by another team in the Eastern Conference, I'm going to pick him to get back to the finals. And LeBron had one of the great offensive seasons that I've ever seen him have that last year in Cleveland. And that playoff run that he had in 2018 until he got to the finals was as great as any player that I've ever seen in the playoffs other than Michael Jordan. But since around 2017, 2018, KD can have that title as the best player in the league. The only issue with KD is that he was never going to get the credit that he deserved because he was playing alongside another superstar. And then on top of that, he got hurt in 2019, and he's pretty much been out for the last year and a half until he came back in 2020. And, he was in and out of the lineup for the majority of the 2020-2021 season. So that, to me, is why we have to give the title of the best player in the NBA to Giannis Antetokounmpo. In the last 3 years, Giannis has had regular season MVP, and Defensive Player of the Year, now Finals MVP. I'm not quite sure how you can deny that man his proper accolades.
Best player because he can do the most. He's been like this since he's been in the league. LeBron is the face of the league. When you talk about the NBA, when you talk about players in the NBA, you speak of LeBron James. But as a defending champion, as a player right now who's holding the trophy, who you have to go through to get the championship is Giannis, and that's just the way I look at the three.
You know what, nephew, I'm going to have to disagree with you on this one. I think Giannis right now is the best player because you look at him, what he is total body, offense and defense. Now,
and impact and leadership. That's what we have to consider as well.
Come on, we're not even. I don't even know why we're talking about this because KD can do it all offensively. Shoot the three, mid range, get to the free throw line. Although Giannis might challenge that, Skip, 17-19 after last night. But
even though Shannon is joking there, I'd be interested to see how Giannis's performance from the free throw line in Game 6 translates over into next season. Because once again, it would not surprise me if he suddenly becomes a 75% free throw shooter come next year, if that confidence carries over.
Total body stacks of what this kid can do defensively, and we saw it was on full display last night. A 50-piece with 14 rebounds and 5 blocks. I think right now, I told Skip to start the show. First time in 5 years of the 450 players that's currently playing in the NBA, I'm gonna have to take my, if I had a hat, well, I got a mask. I'll take my mask off. I sit it down. Giannis is the best player right now. But ain't nothing close. We can't be a prisoner of the moment, Stack, because a lot of people, my guy has been to 10 finals.
Right, but who cares? Why is it that when we talk about LeBron James, we always have to hear about how many finals he went to? Let's talk about how many he won. I promise you, if LeBron had won 7 finals, they would never mention how many times he'd been there. If he was 7-3 in the finals instead of 4-6, all they would mention is that he'd won 7 finals, because that would have been enough to rank him over Jordan. So that would be all they spoke about. But because they don't have that on their ledger, they have to talk about his appearances.
Win the one. He won it. And he had a historic performance. But let's not forget being down 3-1. My guy was down 3-1 in 2016. And over the last 3 games, he just went 36, 12, and 10. And he pulled it off. Nobody.
That's all he did, Skip Baylor. Last 3 games, averaged 36, 12, and 10. Come home to a loving wife and family. Myself, Savannah, and the kids, loving and supporting him. He's the reason that we here today, Skip Baylor. We owe LeBron. I know I owe him. I love the man.
Well, it sounds like you're being prisoner of the Giannis moment.
No. But no, Skip. You can't accomplish what this kid has done. In the last 3 years, he's been a 2-time MVP. He's been a defensive player of the year, and now he's finals MVP.
Agreed. That to me is the mathematical equation that you have to grasp and accept in order to determine who's the new best player, or who should be considered the best player in the NBA. And once you take that into account and into accord, I mean, how could you name anybody else? Love KD as a basketball player. Great overall skill set. He's just coming back from a debilitating injury that pretty much had him out for the last year and a half. He's just getting back into form. Now, after next season, after the NBA champion is declared, presuming that it's the Brooklyn Nets, then we could have a new conversation. But I promise you, these 3 guys right here are going to have the most say. When I say these 3 guys, talking about LeBron, Giannis, and KD, they're going to have the most say over who's going to be considered the best player in the NBA after next year, and maybe a 4th guy if Kawhi comes back before the season ends next year.
Time to give him his due. It's time to, I get it. And we talked about yesterday, you and I had a discussion about dominant Shaq. Well, in 2000, Shaq had his finals, he was 35, 17 on 61% shooting. This kid was 35, 13 on 62% shooting. Take your hat off.
Once again, as I've been saying for the last 3 years, Giannis Antetokounmpo is this generation's version of Shaq. He is this NBA's version of Shaq. This NBA, which is much more streamlined, much more aerodynamic, much more up and down the floor, pace and space. He's this era's version of Shaq.
Yeah, go ahead.
Dominant, but Shaq was the most dominant player in the league by far. But when he was dominated, he wasn't the best.
There's no.
You can make that case. I think I did a video about this. I mean, you're pretty much splitting hairs, but Shaq was so dominant, you almost had to call him the best. Because what he did extremely well. He didn't try to get outside of himself. He wasn't just a dunker. Shaq had a nice little jump hook. He had a nice little up and under move. Like, Shaq could play. Shaq was a phenomenal athlete.
But what this kid has been able to do, Shaq only had one. I think he won the MVP in '99 that year. So
the 99-2000 season, that's when Shaq won the MVP. The 98-99 season, I believe Karl Malone won the MVP.
Yeah, he didn't win the MVP.
Those numbers, was that 2000?
Yeah.
Was it against
Indiana?
Okay, against Indiana.
Yeah,
but in the conference finals.
Oh, he did a number on you and Tim Duncan and
that is correct.
David Robinson.
Tim Duncan and David Robinson were guarding him.
He did a number on y'all.
And they were like rag dolls. He just like flipped them left and right, right?
Stack, were you on that team? Were you that then, Stack?
No, I was on the 2003 team when we stopped the 4P.
Exactly.
Yeah, Tim was the best player in the world in 03. I believe that's the year that he won the MVP in 03. But that's also the year that they brought in both Ginobili and Parker. I think that was Parker's second year, as a matter of fact. But that may have been Ginobili's first year. And that's the reason why they were able to defeat the Lakers. They finally improved their backcourt.
I love having Steven Jackson on this show talking basketball because he just nailed it in about 33 seconds. He laid it out. LeBron is still the face of the league. I'll give you that. Okay. But Kevin Durant is the best player in the league, and Giannis is holding the trophy. That sums it up. That's as sweet and succinct as you can get.
Not quite. KD is the most skilled player in the league, and Giannis is the best player. That would sum it up. And the best player is holding the trophy. It's very slim. It's just that KD has to show me more, and it has to result in winning.
You heard this man say, you was on the show. He said because Kevin Durant went to LeBron's house, beat him in his house, he was the best player. Did Giannis not go to KD's house and beat him? So therefore, by Skip's logic, who should be the best player? Not necessarily I disagree with what you said, but by Skip's logic.
Right, but here's the thing. And I agree with you, Shannon, but as usual, your attempts at counter arguments are based on your emotion and your yearning to troll Skip Bayless. When Skip said that KD went into LeBron's house in 2017, LeBron had Kyrie with him. He had Kevin Love with him. He had Iman Shumpert. They did a great job. Iman was phenomenal on Stephen Curry in the 2016 finals. So it's not like LeBron had nobody. And that's Skip's point. KD went into Cleveland and took LeBron's heart while LeBron had that cast of characters with him. Once again, Skip's point is that it's difficult for him to call Giannis the best when he played a Brooklyn Nets team that was clearly undermanned. I mean, it's just facts. Me, myself, I don't factor that in as much because injuries are a part of the game, but I understand where Skip is coming from.
Player.
Well, the reason why I can't agree with you that because the Nets almost won and they were wounded. A healthy team.
Thank you.
Be talking about the Bucks playing in the finals right now. So I give Giannis his props. He was dominant. He really dominated. I've never seen nobody dominate like that. But he's not the best player in the game, and but he is the one holding the trophy right now.
Okay. The reason Kevin Durant can't come for LeBron's throne is that he's sitting on it already. Been sitting on it since 2017 when he became back-to-back 2017-18 Finals MVP.
But your guy hadn't won the Finals MVP in a long, long time. There are a lot of guys that kissed the trophy.
It was 2018. What are you talking about? Long time.
Look at Steven Jackson's face. Yo, Shannon is so stupid. There's a lot of guys don't kiss the trophy, Skip Bayless. I mean, shit, we passing that bitch around. We running the train on that trophy. That's not KD's woman no more, Skip Bayless. Kawhi, LeBron, Giannis, they done ran the train on that hoe.
Hold up. How does his girlfriend, if three other dudes kissing on her? Kawhi kissed her, LeBron kissed her. Yo, Giannis.
Look at Skip's face. What are you talking about? What type of freaky shit are you into?
Is it kissing her? How that KD girlfriend, he ain't got the trophy?
He tore his Achilles tendon.
And he came back healthy. So what about this year? He had a chance to get it back this year.
Yeah, and what did you see in games 5 and 7 against Giannis and company? What did you see KD do? You saw the best player on the planet. It's not even close.
Yes, Kevin Durant did indeed look like the best player on the planet in those two games. Or at the very least, the most awe-inspiringly skilled player on the planet in those two games.
6 and 7 from Giannis Antetokounmpo.
In that series?
In that series!
I saw game 7. Kevin went for 48, 9, and 6 with no help. It was 1 on 5. You even admitted it was 1 on 5.
And after game 7...
It was even worse than 1 on 5, Skip Bayless, because Kevin Durant's own coach was against him as well. His own coach refused to run real plays for him. His own coach refused to give him a breather when he clearly needed it, down the stretch of the third quarter, per se. His own coach did not put Kevin Durant in a position to get easy baskets. His own coach said, Katie, just take the ball at the top of the three-point line and make something happen. I don't care if you're getting double-teamed or, if the defender's all up on you and they're getting physical with you. Just make something happen, and you're out there playing 1 on 5. So the coach was the problem.
One guy went and caught a plane and went home.
Yeah, and
for good. The other guy went home.
The other guy who went home for good went home because his sneaker was 1/10 of an inch on the three-point line. It was one of the greatest clutch shots in the history of the league in playoff games. Here it is. Kevin Scott, I thought this is game over. If this is a three, I thought it was a three. Silly me, about 10 seconds, I'm rolling on the floor saying he clutched up again. He did it again. Best player on planet. Giannis. You saw it on full display.
Giannis.
No, it's this guy.
Well, we get a chance to sell it next year. Hopefully everybody comes back healthy. Everybody's healthy.
The only thing that I really want to see is Kawhi Leonard get back healthy before the playoffs start. Kawhi Leonard gets back fully healthy for the Clippers. Everybody's healthy throughout the playoffs. Let the chips fall where they may. Whoever wins, wins.
And we'll sell it next year.
Yep, we will. And if Kyrie and James Harden are completely healthy, you're done.
Hey, you cannot go.
So
Shannon already knows it. That's why he starts stuttering. As soon as Skip says, if James Harden and Kyrie come back fully healthy next year, you're done. Shannon paused for a minute because he was trying to think of some bullshit to say in response.
good question, Shannon.
Yeah.
Do they go 7 games without Middleton and Drew Holiday, and the Nets are fully healthy?
Oh no, they're not beating the Nets. They're not beating the Nets if the Nets healthy.
Okay then.
No.
Wait, I thought you said he's the best player on the planet.
Yeah, you say KD did brought him to 7 games without
No.
Kyrie and James.
Hold on. So when KD got Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond against LeBron and Jeff Green and J.R. Smith and Kevin Love and Tristan Thompson, where was that same support?
Everything always goes back to LeBron with this guy, Shannon Sharp. I've never seen a man more infatuated with another man than this cat, Shannon Sharp, is with LeBron. But here's what I'll say about Shannon and his infatuation with LeBron. At least he keeps it within a relatively functional boundary. You understand what I'm saying? It's not like he's trying to take it fully unhealthy, but a lot of that has to do with the fact that he has so much going for himself in his own life. If Shannon was as infatuated with LeBron as he is right now, but he was, like a regular dude and had nothing going for him, he might try to take it to like fully unhealthy levels. But what he just said, he was very disingenuous because in 2017 he had Kyrie. Let me rewind this back just a little bit.
Yeah, you say that KD did brought him to 7 games without
Whoa.
Kyrie and James.
Hold on. So when KD got Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond against LeBron and Jeff Green and J.R. Smith and Kevin Love and Tristan Thompson, where was that same support? Kyrie was going to Boston then.
Right, but Shannon, you're forgetting in KD's first season with the Warriors, Kyrie was still in Cleveland. The 2016-2017 season, that was the first year that KD won the championship with the Golden State Warriors. That was Kyrie's last year in Cleveland.
Kyrie was going to Boston. So you saying Kyrie better than Steph Curry? Is that what you saying right now?
No, Kyrie's not better than Steph Curry, but in comparison to Stephen Curry, it's not like Kyrie's chopped liver. And he did average more points per game in that 2017 finals than Stephen Curry did. Like, it was a relatively even contribution. Stephen Curry averaged something like 27 points per game, 8 rebounds, 8 assists, somewhere around there. And Kyrie averaged something like 29 points per game, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, somewhere around there. But it was relatively even.
Well, I'm saying when they won that championship, Kyrie hit a lot of big shots.
Yeah. And Steph, think about what you talking about. KD, Steph Curry, 2 top 5 players on the same team in their prime. With Klay Thompson, one of the top 5 shooters of all time.
They all loaded up on a private plane and went and recruited him because they blew a 3-1 lead to your guy.
Outside of Game 6s, Klay Thompson has not had that many huge playoff performances. I mean, until his great performance in the 2019 NBA Finals, he's not been that great in the finals. I think that in 2018, he may have averaged over 20 points per game. But in 2016, he was not very good. In 2015, he left a lot to be desired. Like, Klay Thompson, he's pretty much made his name by having huge Game 6s until 2019 when KD went out and they asked a lot more of him.
Say that again. Hold on. They recruited the guy. Hold on. I'm mad at them too because they recruited a guy that lost a 3-1 lead to them. Where they do that at? Stack.
Hey,
why you gonna go get a financial guy that lost all his money? You can't invest my money if you lost.
Come on, Shannon. Part of Shannon's job is to be a great entertainer, but he knows damn well that KD and the Warriors were a perfect fit, arguably the most perfect fit in the history of free agency in the NBA. I'm not quite sure if there ever was a more perfect fit for a player who needed a home and a team that was that one player away from having an all-time great team. Maybe the only two other players I could think of off the top of my head was in 1982 when the Sixers got Moses Malone, and in 1995 when the Bulls got Dennis Rodman. That's about it.
And we can't diminish Chris Middleton. Y'all ever heard of a guy named Michael Redd?
Yeah.
Who broke his record in threes this year? Chris Middleton. Name one guy that every NBA player speaks highly about that everybody want on their team. Drew Holiday. So we can't diminish those two guys now.
Drew Holiday has been voted the most underrated player in the NBA by his peers for a very long time now.
They're tremendous. Look, they're not superstars, but they play their roles extremely well. We talked about this earlier, Stack. Think about what Chris Middleton. Chris Middleton is perfectly fine. Say, you know what, this Giannis team, I don't need to go get my own team to show that I can be a star in this league. Holiday says, okay, I'm third option. Okay, y'all got me locked down defense. Shoot whatever. If I get it, shoot it. Okay, fine. You're not going to find that on every team, Stack, because normally once a guy gets a little bit of success, well, it's his time to get, I want my own team. I want my own thing. And Middleton and Holiday, like, we cool.
Yeah.
You got to do that.
It paid off.
They can pay big three money.
Yeah, exactly.
Fair enough.
That's the best point that Stephen Jackson has made this whole segment, especially pertaining to his attempts to try to, create this energy around the Bucks that they're a super team. They are getting big three money. There's no doubt about that. Middleton and Drew Holiday, they're getting money like they're superstars or borderline superstars. But the Milwaukee Bucks ownership, they were desperate to make sure that they brought in some big names or maintain a relatively big name who was aligned with Giannis and their franchise to show Giannis that we're serious about winning a championship. So kudos to them. But anyway, peace.